Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope everyone is doing good. So welcome to new chapter, that is chapter number 6, plant water relation. Uh, Now in this chapter we will be talking about, as the chapter itself suggests, that we will be talking about plant and water and the relationship between the two. Okay, so in the initial part of the chapter, we will be discussing some properties of water, and then we will begin with some structures of the plant. And as and when we move forward, basically, this chapter is talking about how we all know that water is one of the important and essential uh, thing for the plant to. It is required by the plant for survival. So this whole chapter we are talking about how the plant will take up water, and how it will take up different minerals, and the latter part of the chapter will be about the food also. So the chapter is revolving around plant and water. Okay, so let's begin. Before we begin, can you tell me what are the, if you can just recall in your mind what are the different parts of the plant body? Okay, because it is very important for a biology student to know the different parts of the plant body, because in this chapter you will be requiring uh, this basic knowledge. Okay, so what are the different parts? So just I will just name few of them. You have roots, you have stem, leaf, uh, branches, flowers, fruits. These are the external parts, and definitely you have different tissues, different cells in the plant system. Okay, of which we will be targeting roots in this first video. What are the functions of these various parts of the plant body? If you can recall in your mind, for example, if I tell you roots, so what is the function of the roots? The function of the roots mainly is to absorb water, minerals, nutrients, gases from the root, from the soil, from the ground, and transport it from the root system to the shoot system. If I tell you, for example, leaves have chlorophyll. They can carry photosynthesis, so they will perform the function of photosynthesis. They will make food for the rest of the plant, and from the leaf, the food, the sugar, glucose which is prepared will be transported to different parts of the body of the plant wherever it is required. Okay, so in this video we are going to discuss some of the properties of water, and we are going to also discuss the water absorbing organs. So both will go hand in hand. Before discussing the actual part of the plant in detail, which will absorb water, we should know first the basic properties of water. You have covered this in 10th standard, in lower standard. Also, in chemistry, also you have you might be knowing these certain terminologies that will come up now. Okay, so let's begin. The first property of water, that we all know, it is liquid in nature. Okay, plants are the water is liquid at room temperature. However, when you freeze it, it will turn into solid ice. Okay, when you boil it, it will turn into gaseous vapor form. It is one of the best solvents for most of the solutes. Okay, so let's say you have what is solvent and solute, you should be knowing at this level. Solute plus solvent gives you solute plus solvent will give rise to sugar solution. Okay, so let's say if you have a sugar solution, so sugar will be the solute, water will be the solvent, sugar plus water will give you a sugar aqueous solution. Okay, then it is inert inorganic compound. Okay, inert or the inorganic compound. Usually it does not reacts readily with any other element or compound. Okay, so inert, yes, inert. You might be knowing this from the periodic table. Inert gas elements or renewable elements. Yes, inorganic means what? It will not have carbon and hydrogen in it. It does not has carbon or hydrogen in it. What is the formula for water? H2O. Definitely this H does not stands for hydrocarbon. This is hydrocarbon. This is hydrogen. Two molecule of hydrogen, one molecule of oxygen. It has a neutral pH, that is approximately 7 when it is in pure form. Okay. Another property of water is water, because of this inert, inorganic nature and neutral pH, it is best, and liquid nature, it is the best transporting medium. Okay, it is the best transporting medium for dissolved solutes, that is dissolved minerals, and that is how the plants take up minerals from the soil, from their atmosphere, and they dissolve it in water and then transport it to different parts of the plants. Okay. Another property is it is a best aqueous medium. Usually all molecules can, blend well. All the compounds, all the nutrients, molecule, minerals, and other materials can blend well with the with the water. Can be quite, the suspension. There will be a good suspension which will be made out of water for all the biochemical reaction which happens in the cell. Okay. And finally, it is one of the very, 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 very important raw material for photosynthesis. So for the plant to make food, it requires sunlight, it requires carbon dioxide, okay, it requires water also. Water, in addition to water, carbon dioxide, sunlight is there, but without water, nothing will happen. Okay, so water is very, very important for photosynthesis to happen. Okay, so moving to the few more properties, few specific properties of water. Water has high specific heat, high heat of vaporization, high heat of fusion. Okay, so let's begin with the properties of water. So we were discussing the other properties of water, that is technical properties, like water having a high specific heat, and water having high heat of vaporization as well as high heat of fusion. So let's take it one by one. Now, what do we understand by high heat? High specific heat is that the water requires quite a lot amount of energy for it to be, for let's say 1 gram of water to boil. Okay, for 1 gram of water to boil, it takes 1 calorie of energy. Okay, which is approximately 4,000 or something joules. Yes, so that is what we mean by quite lot of energy is required to just boil or heat basically, heat 1 gram of water. Okay, as compared to other substances. Similarly, high heat of vaporization is 1 gram. Okay, sorry, I just said 1 gram. It was 1 kilogram. Okay, 1 kilogram of water in case of high specific heat. Similarly, for vaporization, also similarly for high heat of vaporization also, the energy required to convert a specific amount of water to bring it to boil and then convert it into gas and then convert it into water vapor. So that energy requirement is also very, very high in case of water. So it cannot easily, the water cannot easily, just boil and turn into gas. It requires a sufficient, a significant amount of energy. Similarly, for high heat of fusion, water requires, for quite more amount of energy to get converted into solid to liquid state. Okay, without the change in temperature. So that is what is high heat of fusion. So to change from one state to another state, water requires quite a significant amount of energy. So because of all these properties, it is water acts like a very good thermal buffer. Okay. Another is because of its high surface tension and high heat, high cohesive and abrasive force, it can easily rise into capillaries. Okay. Why we are talking about capillaries? Because we will see now the root hairs. Okay. The root is the primary organ for absorption of water. So the water rises from the water is taken from the environment of the ground into the capillaries of the root system, and slowly, gradually it is uh, taken up against the force of gravity, and then it is transported to the shoot system, the stem and other parts of the flower of the plant. So because of high surface tension and high adhesive and cohesive force, the it is possible for water to rise against gravity and travel towards upward to different parts of the plant. Okay, so what is this high uh, cohesive and adhesive force? So the force of attraction between the water molecule is cohesion, and the force of attraction, okay, attraction between the water molecule and the surface to which it is attached. Let's say here it will be the root surface. So that is adhesion. Okay, like you take a glue and stick a paper onto another paper. So you put an adhesive over here. So that will be the the adhesive force that will act between the two papers. Okay, and then it will be stuck to one another. So that is what we mean by these forces. So because of these forces existing in between the water molecules and the water molecule, showing adhesive force to the surface to which it comes into contact with, it is able to rise easily in the capillaries. Okay, so these are the properties of water that we have discussed up till now. That it is liquid at room temperature, it's one of the best solvent, it is inert organic compound with neutral pH, best transporting medium and best aqueous medium, and is one of the important raw material for photosynthesis to be carried out. Then it has all these properties. Yeah, we can take few examples and understand just for revision type and understanding. For example, drinks can be cooled by adding in several ice cubes. When ice melts, a large amount of heat is absorbed, and this lowers the temperature of the drink. So this is what telling you that water has high heat of fusion, right? Uh, then the freshness of the fish and the meat can be maintained by placing them in contact with ice. Yeah. So this is with its large latent heat, that is heat of fusion, it is able to absorb a large quantity of heat from the fish as it melts. So food can be kept for a longer period of time in these ice setup. And another property, like for example, water has large specific latent heat of water vaporization, that is a high heat of vaporization. This property is what? Enabling steam to be used for cooking by the method of steaming. Okay, so when the steam condenses on the food, the latent heat is released directly onto the food, enabling the food to be cooked. So this amount of energy required is relatively high, and because of this, in this case, latent heat of vaporization, slowly and gradually when the steam rises, so this steam gives uh, uh, enables the food to be cooked at a faster rate. Okay, our bodies feel cool after sweating because latent heat of vaporization is high, because it is absorbed from the body when sweat evaporates. Okay, so as a result, the body is cooled by the removal of heat. You can go through many more examples by researching and finding more examples for your self understanding. Okay, with regards to high specific heat, high heat of vaporization, high heat of fusion. Okay, with respect to biology, we are not going deeper into these properties because this is something that you have learned or you will be learning in chemistry and physics. Okay, so I have just included a bit briefing about these terminologies, so at least you know that high heat, high specific heat means more amount of energy required for just 1 kilogram of water to turn from no, from room temperature to to heating temperature. Similarly, from boiling state to vaporization state, more amount of energy required in case of water. Similarly, heat of fusion also, from solid to liquid, from ice to water, it takes a lot amount of energy and time for the ice to get converted into water. So these are the properties with respect to water that you should be knowing in case of this topic. Okay, now we move to the next topic of this chapter is that is the first part of the chapter, the primary organ which is responsible for absorbing water. Okay, which is the root. So we need to know the root, the different regions of the root, okay, and its function. So the first region is very simple, region of cell division. As you can see over here, this is the tipmost part. This is the region of cell division, which is composed of meristematic cells. Meristematic cells are the youngest cells of the plant. Yes, they are the youngest cells of the plant. They are highly fragile and they grow. They are actively involved in multiplication and division of cells. Okay, so they are at the tip. So the root is growing. The cells are multiplying at a very faster rate over here. Yes, dividing and multiplying. Okay. This region of cell division, you can see it has a root cap over here. Yes, it has a root cap over here which protects the this region of young cells from any damage or injury. As and when the root is growing, that is, it has to penetrate deep inside the ground, so this root cap will protect that. Then we move to the next part of the root, which is the region of cell elongation. So once the cells are divided and multiplied, now they will go into the region of cell elongation. That is, now those divided and multiplied young cells will undergo development, will undergo development. Okay, that is, they will grow in size. Now they will grow in size, okay, and they will increase their size. Fine. So these cells are the permanent and they elongate in this region. Then comes the region of absorption, okay, which is here. So once the cells are elongated, now they move to their functional region, that is region of cell maturation or region of absorption. That both you can interchange and uh, call it. So in this region, just above the region of elongation, root hairs are present which absorb the water from the soil. Okay, so here are the cells which will actually, root cells which will perform the absorption of water. So this is just the region of cell division. Then the cells move into the region of cell elongation for development. Then cell maturation, where the root hairs are there. These are the root hairs, these slender thread-like structures you see. These are the regions of root hairs which will do the actual absorption of water. Okay, yes, and also in this region the cells are getting matured according to their function. And what is the function? Nothing but to absorb water. Okay, nothing but to absorb water. Fine. So this is the structure of the root, different regions of the root. Basically, you need to know region of cell division, which is having meristematic cells, which is young actively growing cells. Then comes the region of cell elongation, wherein the cells are permanent and then they increase in size, they elongate. Region of absorption is over here. Basically, the root hairs are the ones which forms the region of absorption, which absorb the water from the soil. Okay, and the region of maturation is where the cells undergo maturation. Basically, it is this region only where they go complete maturation, and now they are ready to perform the function of absorption. This whole part is the root, basically broadly divided into three regions, 3 to 4 regions. Okay, so that's all for this video. In the next video, we will be talking about structure of root hair and what are the different waters which are there under the ground surface, and which water out of that, which water is available for absorption. Okay, so thank you. Take care. See you in the next video.